You're on top of the world. You are the Michigan head coach by
Great job.
default,
Great
right?
job.
Did a great job.
Great job.
Okay, the players liked him.
Yeah.
They liked playing for him.
Mm-hmm.
Going and banging, you one of the people. I mean, not only that, you get her pregnant, okay? You're doing it where people could see you doing it. They know what you're up to.
Gave her a raise, 50% raise.
And then you get fired, and the first thing you think to yourself is not go confess to your wife, not go beg forgiveness,
right.
not go talk to the AD. No.
Let me break into that.
Where's this pregnant girl at so that I can stalk her and threaten her so that I can get thrown in jail? What the fuck is wrong with people?
He got charged with 3 crimes, by the way. Got charged with 3 crimes. Home invasion, stalking.
All right, here's great. Will he ever coach again?
Welcome to the Bet Big, Talk Loud podcast. He already pissed me off 5 seconds ago. Right? We can't.
It's going to be a fun one.
Tells the producer, everyone in the room, I don't pay attention to shit. And
no, he pays bills, but he doesn't pay attention.
I pay attention. But Bet Big, Talk Loud, here we go.
You try talking to this guy for no more than 90 seconds, you're done. It's over. It's over.
Sadly, my wife says the same thing. Oh, man, let's get to it. Let's do a podcast. Let's have some fun. We're going to have San Diego Sports Radio 760 host Jon Schaeffer joining us later in the show. That's going to be fun. I've done a call-in with Jon for over 10 years now. He does a great job over there in San Diego, so we'll talk about that. They also do...
And he agreed to do the... Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Jon's my boy, man. Him and Jim Russell, yeah, they got Jon and Jim on at 760.
It's only a 5-minute interview anyway, right?
No, it'll be a longer interview. But him and Jim do the San Diego Padres wrap-up show. Obviously not relevant to right now, but during baseball season, Jon and Jim do a great job, so we'll have Jon Schaeffer on. Obviously, I guess it's a slow sports week. Not much going on?
Not a lot going on.
Yeah.
I mean, even Thursday college basketball was like, there was 2 relevant games, if that.
So I guess you didn't see the sarcasm and not a lot going on? Well, kind of a quiet week. I don't know what's going on in the state of Michigan. Kind of a quiet story.
Now you're talking about, people are just nuts. What is wrong with people?
We'll get to it. Great football game last night.
On top of the world, you're the head coach of a major program.
We're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. Tampa Bay, Atlanta last night. Something happened that you don't often see happen, okay? Obviously, Tampa Bay has a 28-14 lead in the fourth quarter last night. They blow the game.
They did.
Not
and
often.
Boy, did they blow the game.
They blew it. Now, not often do you see a revered head coach, because Todd Bowles is a revered head coach.
He is.
And Todd Bowles, to me, is a very good head coach. Not often do you see. He is. Not very good?
Great defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Great mind for football. Has not proven to be a... I mean, listen, he won the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, okay? It was Tom Brady.
That wasn't him, though. He was there. He wasn't the coach at the time. Arians was the coach of that
Correct.
time.
That's right. No, but
he was the defensive coordinator.
He was the defensive coordinator.
Defense coordinator.
So he does have a Super Bowl title under his belt, but again, it was as a coordinator. I didn't realize he had such command. I saw that interview today, okay, and I have a whole new respect for Todd Bowles. I thought that he was just wake up in the morning, all right, we lost another game, and no,
you don't see him do. See, for him as a head coach, I don't blame what went on with the New York Jets. I almost expunged that because I don't count.
I think you got to expunge that on everyone.
Everyone.
If
doesn't
Jets
count.
are on there, I mean, even Belichick had a stint with them.
Yeah, God could. Well, he had a minute with them. He didn't. But God couldn't win with the Jets.
Pete Carroll built them a decent team for a little while.
Yeah, but he was there for a year. No one wins with the Jets. God couldn't win with the Jets. But you had a head coach.
God couldn't win with the Jets.
God couldn't win with the Jets. You had a head coach last night.
There was a deal made back in the 60s between Joe Namath and the Devil.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Sold to soul.
That got them that W.
You had a head coach last night stand up, do a press conference, and this is him talking. It's not me. I'm quoting him right now. You've got to execute. They've got to hold each other accountable, meaning the players. As a coach, you can sit there until you're blue in the face, until they start holding each other accountable and doing the little things right. And that's not everybody, We're talking about a small select few, but the small select few is what's getting us beat. And until that happens, it's not going to get right. So he went after the players last night.
Where's the explicit, all the cursing?
Yeah, I took that out. I did the G-rated version of the.
Because the interview I saw was a little bit different.
He cursed a little.
It was a whole, these guys are a bunch of morons kind of interview.
I'm pro player. I always have been. I always generally, what an idiot. Anyway, I generally take the side of the players. But
why?
Okay, because I just feel like they are the ones that make the plays on the field. I think coaches get too much credit and too much blame. Too much credit when something goes good.
God, you and I just can't disagree enough right now. Jesus. Are you serious?
Yeah, I am. I think coaches get too much credit and too much blame. I do.
Great coaches win championships.
Okay.
Plain and simple. Shitty coaches have won. They're few and far between.
Okay.
But that's because there was a general on the field.
Okay.
That was able to get them to that level.
Okay, now let me just take that argument apart with one sentence. Bill Belichick has never won without Tom Brady.
I gave you that. We've already had that discussion.
So
I don't think he's the greatest coach.
So you don't actually disagree. Great
on
players.
That one.
Coaches get too much credit, too much blame.
You're out of your mind.
Coaches get too much credit and too much blame.
I don't think they get enough credit and not nearly enough blame.
We definitely differ.
I no doubt about it. Listen, we've talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers multiple times. Mike Tomlin, you think, is on the hot seat, as many do. And I guess he kind of is. He's never going to get fired.
He's a great coach, though.
He's great. He still commands a tremendous amount of respect in that locker room. Do I think he's done a really bad job bringing in offensive and defensive? Well, outside, Dick LeBeau is the man, obviously. They've had some good defensive coordinators there. But right now, it's a shit show. It's not his fault directly, although some of the blame has to go on him. Okay? But I blame Omar Khan. I blame the general manager. I blame the talent that's on the field. He's doing the best with what he's got.
So he get too much credit or too much blame?
In his case, I think he's getting a little too much blame.
If we go in every coach's case, they're going to get too much credit or too much blame.
But look at Andy Reid, okay?
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid did a fantastic job. Didn't win championships in Philadelphia, but got to one.
Didn't win without Pat Mahomes. Didn't win a Super Bowl without Pat Mahomes.
I understand he would have at some point. Had he stayed in Philadelphia, I believe strongly he would have been able to put together a team.
He wasn't winning with Donovan McNabb, even though he went to the Super Bowl.
And Donovan McNabb will be one of the most overrated quarterbacks of that generation forever. But it was because he had a great head coach. So the guy could handle the pressure. He was throwing up on the sideline in the Super Bowl.
The way I go with this is I am pro player. Okay, I do tend to take their side.
I think I'm way more pro coach.
Okay, that's fine. That's why this podcast works. By the way, we're gonna have some free picks coming up. You're red hot with the free picks, pulling away from me, doing a great job. 10-4,
as usual.
Yeah, in the NFL. But this guy won't challenge me in college basketball. But that's fine. It's all good. You're doing a great job in the NFL. Absolutely great job. 10-4, 3 in a row. We'll get to his free pick, and I have Army Navy, which I got a gun to my head. I have to use a certain side in that.
Why do you have to use that?
Because I don't want to be one of the Menendez. I don't want to talk and be like one of the Menendez parents.
I think we're going to disagree on that one, but that's biased opinion.
You're going to disagree on
family.
Yeah, you're going to disagree on bullshit. You know, that's it. We'll get to that in a second. That story will be coming up in a moment.
Oh God!
Last night, Todd Bowles was right. That game was 1,000%
lost by players.
No doubt.
And,
as a coach, you could draw up a great play if a wide receiver drops the ball or a quarterback reads it wrong, or you could draw up a great blitz and the guy misses the tackle.
Who was the kid that dropped the ball? I mean, literally,
bro, they were dropping
coverage. Was it Slavin, I think was his name?
They were dropping balls all over the field. Tampa Bay dropped a touchdown last week, okay, that cost them that game against New Orleans.
4 out of 5 games they were on the wrong side. They've just been falling apart. Went from Baker Mayfield is going to be the MVP to they're not making the playoffs.
Terrible. But he put it on the players last night, and you don't often see a coach do that.
No, you don't. But good head coaches that command the locker room, I think, are capable of doing that. And obviously, he has a certain command there. Yep. I think that they respect the ever-living shit out of him in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. So Atlanta wins plus 5.5 last night. Tampa Bay in a nosedive right now. Good for Atlanta. They're still playing hard. Raheem Morris getting the troops rallied around him. And, hey, listen, you're down 28-14 on the road on a short week. A lot of teams sometimes going to tank there. They didn't.
So now there's a guy that I've never been a Raheem Morris fan. I think overrated, has never done a great job anywhere that he's went.
Who do you like? Well, what coach do you like?
Well,
besides Reid and Tomlin, who else?
Right, so he's old, but I still love Pete Carroll. Fantastic.
The guy has like 4 wins, and he's got 2 wins in Vegas this year. Pete Carroll is responsible for one of the greatest buffoon-like gaffes in Super Bowl history.
Okay, I'll give you, he made a bad play call. He definitely should have given the ball to Marshawn Lynch, but he also took a team that has never done anything and turned them into a powerhouse for 10 years. The Legion of Boom was fun to watch.
I think Jim Harbaugh, great coach.
Then I was going to say both Harbaughs.
I think LaFleur, great coach. Matt LaFleur done nothing wrong. He hasn't won a Super Bowl, but he's done nothing wrong.
I have not put him up at that
He's the next tier down.
Yeah.
Great coach.
I'm not putting him there just yet.
I think Sirianni is a fantastic coach. He gets a lot. If he coached anywhere in Philadelphia, if he was out of Philadelphia or out of New York, if he was anywhere else, that guy would be revered. But because he's with lunatics in Philadelphia.
Yeah, but how do you explain, seriously, the personnel is some of the best in the NFL?
They won a Super Bowl last year.
I understand. What is this?
It happens.
What is this?
It happens.
I need,
roller coaster.
If you're going to tell me he's an echelon coach, I need this. I need consistency. I don't want this roller coaster bullshit.
He won a Super Bowl last year.
I understand that, and that's why I'll say he's obviously a very good head coach, but something there. I don't know what it is. There's something there that we're not seeing.
I think he actually. You want the truth on that?
Either it's his own personal confidence level when he's coming in and out.
That's not it.
Or whether it's his relationships with the players directly.
That's not it.
Then tell me, what is it?
I'm going to tell you. And
you tell me it's A.J. Brown?
No, that's not it. A malcontent wide receiver like that hasn't happened in the NFL.
Team. That's what I was going to say.
Everyone forever from high school.
They got A.J. Brown. They got Smith. They've got arguably the greatest running back in the game right now, Saquon Barkley, and you're going to tell me he fell off. Bullshit. And then they got Jalen Hurts, which not the greatest quarterback. Mobile, can throw the ball, can stay in the pocket, can get out of trouble.
He won a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
That's what he did. Jalen Hurts.
Are you sure Jalen Hurts didn't help him win the Super Bowl?
He won a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. No, Saquon Barkley had a fantastic season last year.
Unbelievable.
He won a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts.
And the guy's averaging 60 yards a game this year.
Jalen Hurts,
That's not his fault. That's play calling.
And see, this is the fault of the media. The media, because as soon as someone has 2 good games in a row, the media builds you up like you're crazy good. Jalen Hurts was never a top 5 or top 10 quarterback. Never, ever.
Had a great offensive coordinator last year.
He had a great season last year, but Jalen Hurts is doing what Jalen Hurts generally does. He's not a great passer of the football. Now he's not running the ball well. The push isn't working as well.
You were an offensive coordinator.
I was.
Okay. You don't think they nearly get enough or not enough credit off wins and losses for – I mean, you're going to tell me that game plan doesn't really count.
No, game plan counts. But at the end of the day, the players have to make plays.
Of course they do, but with bad play calling, you're going to lose.
But if
you know you're going to run the football every first and second down and throw it on third down, period, end of discussion.
Let's say
that's easy for a defense.
Let's say this, right? I had a terrible quote when I was in high school. This is true. I had a terrible quote when I was in high school. My offensive coordinator, he called a toss play. It was a terrible call. I actually turned the play into a touchdown. Okay, I made 3 or 4 guys miss.
You showed me the article on this one.
So now, we kind of got into a rift after I left high school. He gets a job working for a college, and someone had asked me about him because they were struggling in college. And I said, he got his job based on great players turning bad plays into good plays. That's what I said.
That wasn't a nice thing to say.
Was not, but it was true.
Why would you do that?
Because it's the truth.
Players don't always tell the truth. They say what's right.
Me.
Did you not like the head coach?
It was the offensive coordinator.
The guy a jerk off?
No.
Why wouldn't you want to help him?
Because I thought it was bullshit the way he went about some things. So that's it. That's the way it goes. So let's move on.
Again, another place we differ. I would have looked at them and been like, oh my God, I love this guy. He helped me grow up. He was like a second father.
I told the truth.
And then you go tell the guy, I helped you get that job.
I told the truth. Man, yeah, he turned I turned bad play calling into touchdowns. Me. And he got the job.
And you got benched, and your grandfather told you what
I got benched. And that is true. And I got benched because I missed a block. And that was now I got to take it. A terrible missed block, deserved to get benched. Deserved it. Let's go on to unless you live under a rock somewhere. Sherrone Moore.
Why, is there something going on with him?
My God. You want to know who's having a bad day? I'll tell you who's having a bad day.
His wife?
Well, her too. The pages of the world.
Oh, God.
The pages of the world. Because if you just Google Paige Buchers or Paige Sporadic no longer come up number one.
Nope.
It's the other Paige, so we're not going to mention her last name, but the pages of the world not having a good day.
What is wrong with people? I mean, seriously. I was just saying, you're on top of the world. You are the Michigan head coach by default.
Great job.
Did a great job.
Great job.
Okay. Didn't obviously get all the way. Didn't win in that. Beat Ohio State last year. Mm-hmm. I believe 8-3 this year.
9-3.
9-3 this year. Good record. The players liked him.
Yeah.
They liked playing for him.
Mm-hmm.
You're going and banging. You're one of the people. I mean, not only that, you get her pregnant. Okay. You're doing it where people could see you doing it. They know what you're up to.
Gave her a raise. 50% raise.
And then you get fired. And the first thing you think to yourself is not go confess to your wife, not go beg forgiveness, not go talk to the AD. No.
Let me break into that.
Where's this pregnant girl at so that I could stalk her and threaten her so that I can get thrown in jail? What the fuck is wrong with people?
He got charged with 3 crimes, by the way. Got charged with 3 crimes. Home invasion, stalking.
All right, here's great. Will he ever coach again?
No, he will not. That guy will not coach again. He ruined his whole life.
Not even high school.
Yo, and we had this situation with Petrino when he got caught on the motorcycle when he got into the accident. So, listen, this has happened before, but I don't know if it's happened at this high of a...
It's one thing to be a cheater. It's another to go stalk the woman and make threats. And, like, that just shows psychosis, right? I mean, that says, well, there's something wrong with that guy.
I mean, if you think about it, with everything he had going on, coach in Michigan, which is not an easy job. Great job, but not an easy job. A wife with 3 children.
3 children.
And a mistress. And he went 9-3. That's multitasking right there.
At a high level.
Bro, I couldn't, if I was, and my wife watching this shit, I could not run this business while cheating on my wife.
God.
Where do you get the time?
Forget about that. It's here, man. Like, I don't understand any, listen, I know plenty of you men out there doing your thing. I get it. I've been married 28 years. I attribute that 99% of it because I'm loyal. Because the one thing that I say to every man that gets married, if you're going to go mess around, don't even bother. Do not get married. You are going to have a trip to hell and back. If you are loyal and your wife is loyal, you guys are going to get along forever. But you can't be a cheating piece of shit and expect to have a happy marriage and then go get forgiveness 3 times.
I'll tell you the truth, man. It's another true story. And this happened in church on my wedding day. I say this to this day, and this my wife's aunt, she knows this is true, man. And this is the God's honest truth.
Here's one I haven't heard.
My wife's aunt came up to me in church, wedding day, and said, I'm going to give you the best advice to stay married. I said, and what is that? She said, keep the fights clean and the sex dirty. In church, she said that to me. That I got married at 23, 22 or 23. I am now 46, so half my life I've been married. I have never forget her saying that to me, ever. Keep the fights clean and the sex dirty.
I remember my father. Now, he didn't give me such a great line. He just looked at me on the way to the church. I'm in my suit. I'm throwing up because I had my bachelor party the night before. That's what 22-year-old retards do. So I'm hammered, could hardly walk, going to get married.
Right.
My wife is, at the time, my soon-to-be wife, 5 months pregnant. I'm 22 years old. And he looks at me and says, you understand you don't have to do this. It's my father.
Okay.
He's like, I hope you're not doing this because she's pregnant. I'm like, well, I mean, of course it's got something to do with it, but I love her. I knew I loved her the day I met her. I scared the shit out of her. First night said, we're going to get married. She was like, yeah, you're definitely not my guy.
But listen, hey, man, whatever floats your boat, but man, what Sherrone Moore did there,
it's just
that's a bad one.
On top of the world to now you're going to be living in a cave.
I have a problem with college coaches. I've said this before, they have to win, and we've got to that situation in life where if they don't win, we look at them like terrible coaches. But we really should. You
got to look at the talent around them too.
Agreed, but in college they're responsible for recruiting and getting that talent, right? But at the end of the day,
you got a checkbook to do it.
Yes, but at the end of the day, you're supposed to develop young men, set a great example for the young kids that come into your institution. Remember, when you recruit, you go into 85 different homes and you talk to 85 different sets of parents.
Sure. And
say, I'm going to look after your son or your daughter, or whatever sport you're coaching, right? And to me, that means something. Right? If you're going to say that to a parent,
you need a connection.
You have to make sure and to go out and do what he did. Yeah, man, like that's crazy to me, but we'll see what happens with Michigan in the bowl game.
I heard Michigan was trying to go after Kyle DeBoer from
Kalen DeBoer.
Kalen DeBoer. Yeah. Leave it to me to get the fucking names wrong. I do it every week.
How about the prediction markets right now? Now, obviously this is Bet Big Talk Loud, so we try to, social events with betting. How about the prediction markets getting sued right now?
There's sports books. You and I sitting here talking about it this morning. You're like, yeah, but they found the loophole. There's still a sports book.
They found a loophole.
And you're like, well, why is it against the law to take Johnny and put him with Peter and say, here, you guys make a bet.
They found a loophole.
It's still against the law to book action. Whoever is...
They're not booking the action. They're not the sports book.
Somebody is. The 2 parties involved, whoever it is, it's a goddamn sports book. There's no 2 ways about it.
Okay.
They even have... All right. listen, I was a fiduciary, right? I mean, it's options trading, right? It's options trading. Why do they have sport mode?
Go ahead, tell me why.
Because it's a sports book. It's a predictive market. They call it predictive market, and underneath, right underneath predictive market, if there's tracing paper, it says sports book underneath it.
Simple question. Did they or did they not find a loophole? Simple question. All right, he knows the answer to the question. They found a loophole. Now it's up to the politicians and the states to do the shit that they do, the scam-like nonsense that they do, and they got to what? Close the loophole.
All they're going to do is take their cut. This isn't about what's right and
if
wrong.
The states were getting
this is about getting their cut. Nothing else.
Nothing else in life is like that.
Well,
what we've been saying on this podcast since it started, follow the money.
Which is insane to me. Like, I did another interview in Alabama this morning. They were asking me about how tough it's been, right, in college football and the NFL. I said never before, ever. I mean, all the technology that they've got today, you should never miss a call.
Never.
Okay? If you do, it should be 1 out of 100.
Agreed.
Maybe like last night when the ass and the hand are hitting at the same time. Yep. See, maybe getting that one wrong. Mm-hmm. But with the technology today, you should never miss a call.
Agreed.
The refereeing is at an all-time low.
The worst.
And you're going to tell me it's because all of a sudden come on, man. Come on.
Man.
I can't call it out specifically for what it is, but you're going to tell me there's no correlation?
I've been railing about this for weeks.
It's absurd.
There is absolutely correlation.
And who are you going to sue? You're going to take them to court in a state where the state is getting a cut?
They could do it. Listen, they could do whatever they want to do. You know, it's
insane.
That's the world we live. Like, who said it best? George Carlin. We have the illusion of freedom. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. It is what it is. I'm going to get to my free pick. Okay. It's on Army-Navy. Now, this game means a lot to both of us.
Hold on. Before you give it.
Yeah.
If you want to use something else, you want to use an NFL game.
Okay.
You want to use a college basketball game.
Okay.
Please feel free.
Okay, so
I'm not going to listen to you tell me you were forced to use a game.
Okay, so right off the bat, let's talk about how stupid that statement is. College basketball lines aren't even out for Saturday when we're doing this podcast, so I can't use one anyway.
We're doing the podcast on Friday.
Okay.
Did you forget what fucking day it is now?
The lines aren't out for college basketball Saturday, so I'm not going to give out a...
You could give out a Friday night game.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Texas and UConn. UConn's minus 14.5. Xavier, Missouri State. Xavier's minus 17.5. I could do this all day with this guy off the top of my head, man. It's not even worth arguing.
I'm sitting here trying to give you an opportunity to not have to use the Army-Navy game.
I want to use the Army-Navy game. First of all,
you like it. That's all I wanted to get
through. It's important in the family. Like, and I have to be careful. Like I said earlier, I don't want to get shot by my son.
Shit.
I don't want to get shot by my son. My son is a trained killer now. See, like 5 or 6 years ago, I was able to beat this kid up happily too. Whenever this, so my middle son was the one that I don't know if you guys out there cracked your kids when they were younger. Okay, my middle son, if he wasn't getting beat up, he wasn't happy. He just wanted to get beat up. So what's this kid go and do? He goes and joins the Army, becomes a trained killer. Now I can't fuck with him. Right, you saw the picture?
I did. My godson's a Marine. I still kick his ass.
Yeah, not if you don't want you to.
Yeah,
you saw the picture of my son with the machine gun? I'm not fucking with him.
How tall is your son?
I'm 6'3". He's about 6'1".
All right, yeah, my godson's only 5'9".
Yeah, he's a big boy, man. I'm not messing with this kid. He's in the Army. Listen, I do believe it's going to be a close game. Navy-Army, first of all, is a great rivalry. Good for those kids. Thank you for serving our country. When you get done with school, you have to go do your tours. We are gratefully respectful. And I believe this game should always be a standalone game, but it should not be another game.
I love this. I do. I really do.
These kids deserve all the credit and all the respect for what they have to go through.
I'm going to go to Philadelphia one year to go watch this game.
Next year it's at MetLife.
Yeah.
So thank you for your service and everything that you do. If you look at the head-to-head competition the last few years, Army has gotten the better of them. Navy won last year, but Army has won 6 of the last 9. If you look at the common opponents this year that both teams played, they both played 5 common opponents. And if you look at the results of those 5 games, they were very equal. Very equal.
What did Army do against the Air Force?
Beat them by 3.
What did Navy do?
Beat them by 3.
I swear they beat the tail off.
Beat them by 3. So, see, and right off the top of my head, we didn't talk about that. So I'm going to take the points.
You do that shit with me with the NFL, and I'm going to know it.
I'm gonna take the points with Army plus 6. I want to watch the game. I wish these kids, all the respect and the greatness in the world that they hopefully have, because they are going to go out and defend our country, and a lot of people don't do that. Now, I have another son who's in the Coast Guard. Thankfully, they don't have a football team, so I don't have to deal with this nonsense.
I believe they play for Navy, if they do.
Is that true?
Yeah, well, they used to be a department of the Navy. Now they're the Department of Treasury, I believe, but they were Department of the Navy.
Well, that son ain't playing
just
football
like
anyway.
Marines. Marines are under the Navy flag.
I just the whole thing is I'm not fucking with my Army son. First of all, I don't want to hear him, number one. Secondly, the motherfucker's a trained killer now, so I'm not dealing with this kid. I'm going to end up like one of the Menendez parents. Get the hell out of here. I'm like, when this kid shoots me in my sleep, get out of here. So we have that. Your free picks?
So you're going, you didn't say.
I'm going with Army plus the points. I said that twice.
Go Navy, beat Army. All right, so now that I said that, my brother served in
the
Navy as a submariner. My father did 3 tours in Vietnam in the Navy on the Mekong Delta. My grandfather served in the Coast Guard during World War II when they were Department of the Navy.
So now you like your brother. You like your brother now.
Well,
because
he was in the Navy.
Okay, so let me tell you right now, let's tell the truth. Monday night, him and his brother are going to hate each other. The brother might, and the family might get torn asunder. There might not be Christmas because of what's going on Monday night.
We already know what's going to happen. Come on. My team will destroy his team's hopes. He will come in getting all pissed off at me, saying how my team sucks.
He is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. His brother's a Miami Dolphins fan. So I am not a fan. I hate everybody.
I'm a fan of money. I would listen if I thought that Miami was going to be able to compete on Monday night in Pittsburgh with 15-degree weather and possible snow, I might be thinking different. Because listen, Pittsburgh sucks right now. Aaron Rodgers.
That was a big win against Baltimore, though.
Yeah, okay.
Good win.
Aaron Rodgers looks 107 years old.
Let me ask you a question, not to cut you off. Let me ask you a question. Did you think it was a catch on Baltimore? Did you think he caught that lively?
Yes. In the end zone. You're talking about
the 2 steps in the third one. He
absolutely made a football move. And we're talking about an end zone catch, right? So it's supposed to be almost 1 second, and you're good. Like, you walk into the end zone, you can drop the ball.
I did not think it was a catch.
Come on.
I don't think he didn't get the 3rd foot down. And if that's a rule by the way, I think that's a stupid rule. I don't agree with the rule.
And 2 weeks ago, we had that one with Dak Prescott and the safety, right?
Yes.
And I feel like the announcers were getting it wrong. So
they
for a
generally
touchdown, all the ball has to do is cross the plane. Just the nose of the football crosses the plane.
Correct.
It's a touchdown.
Touchdown.
On a safety, the entirety of the ball has to be in. So if half the ball is in, it's not a safety. Am I wrong on this?
I actually,
tell me I'm wrong.
I don't know that rule.
Because only half the ball was in. And somebody announced, like, well, it was in.
I don't know that rule.
But as a safety, I believe, I almost know the rule is the entirety of the ball has to be in the end zone. And that ball never entirely got in the end zone.
If that's the rule, then that wasn't a safety.
Call. That was the right call.
But you have been lights out on your free picks. You started off 7-4, then you hit 3 in a row. So now you're 10-4. You got Buffalo and New England on Sunday.
I do. I got accused of not giving a sexy matchup last week because I gave the Dolphins against the Jets, and I had a bunch of unders and a couple of overs in there throughout. You never go with the sexy. Well, you know what? There's a sexy one out there this week, and I'm going to give you the winner of that game. Bills are going to New England. New England now, I believe, 10-2, 11-2.
Yeah, hottest team in the league. 10 straight wins.
10 in a row. Buffalo Bills obviously have had a hard run at it, but they've won another big game, comeback last week. They're definitely in the hunt. I'm going with the veteran leadership, not just of Josh Allen, but also James Cook. I think that the whole team, not only, really a better unit, a stronger unit. New England, as good as they are, I believe a lot of it has to do with the head coach. Also, you've got 5 rookies in New England. They don't have the experience that this Buffalo team has. This Buffalo team has had to come back multiple times to get to the playoffs. They've had to win big games. They understand this place. They know they need this win. This is not just another game. This is not week 5 or week 7. This is a must-win for Buffalo, and that's the way they're looking at it. They're going to win this game. There's a reason that the team with the lesser record on the road is still the favorite in this matchup.
As of right now, doing this podcast, because that line is coming down.
Correct. Well, the public's, stupid. They're going to bet the underdog, and they're going to let me New England. But, again, they have, to me, overperformed, okay? I do not believe them to be a Super Bowl contending team. I think they can get, obviously, into the playoffs, maybe even make an AFC championship game, but they're not going to the big game. Okay. Not yet. There'll be a team to beat maybe next year or the year after.
So Buffalo minus 1.5 or money line?
Minus the 1.5.
Minus 1.5?
I'm not a pussy. We're going to lay the 1.5. Use Buffalo.
If they win 27-26.
Oh, yeah, then I'm going to have to do so. I'll eat your hat. Oh, wait, where's your hat?
Man, I lost the goddamn thing. I can't find it.
Now everyone's going to know you're gray and balding.
I'm bald.
I said ing. Balding.
Man.
I choose this. This is razor blade, buddy.
That's not chosen.
Do you want me to grow it out for you?
Yeah, it'll look stupid because you're only going to have hair around the sides of your head.
Land a helicopter right up here.
I lost the hat. My wife was looking for it this morning. I don't know where it went. Yeah, that's just typical me. I throw my clothes on the floor.
Notice he didn't say he was looking for it. His wife was looking for it.
Oh, man. And so there's some odd games. We got Jon Schaeffer from San Diego Sports 760 coming on in just a few moments, so we'll do that. But we got a couple minutes here. We have a couple odd games this week in the NFL. Obviously, Jacksonville. Jacksonville is a double-digit favorite now for just the third time since the start of 2018. So this is season number 8 in that. Naturally, it's against the Jets. Naturally. But interesting little tidbit about this. With Jacksonville being a double-digit favorite, the prior 2 times they were double-digit favorites, not only did they not cover, they lost both games outright.
Who was it? Really? I mean, do you remember who they were?
One of them was the Titans. I don't recall the other one. One of them was the Titans, though. And
I think Chicago's got a tough game, much tougher than people think this week against Cleveland.
Yeah, I think Chicago. I'm not on that game either which way, but I think Chicago's going to beat them up.
They're coming off the loss to Green Bay. They were
played
on a
well
high.
in that game.
They were playing great football. I just feel like that after that loss, there's going to be a little bit of a sell-off.
You think the Chiefs line is a little weird?
Very weird.
6 and 7 versus what is the Chargers? 9-4, and they're 5.5. And by the way, the last 5 games the Chiefs have played, they're 1-4, and the one win
and
you
we
were
on selling. I went against them in Indy. I went against them with Dallas. I even last week liked Houston. I've been selling this team since, but now feel like they've been oversold. There's going to be some value. They know they got to win out to even, what is it, 12% chance, I think?
They got to go 10-7. They're 6-7, so they got to win out. They still got Denver left on Christmas Day.
If
Obviously,
able
the
to,
game.
I would think they're capable.
You would think, but every
week schedule ahead of them.
Still Denver on Christmas. And this one's not an easy game.
No, but that offensive line for LA is just decimated.
They're hurt. I'll tell you, but what I do feel is the oddest line of the week, the whole week. I feel like this is the oddest line. And I know Green Bay is good. I take nothing away from them. But Green Bay, they're 9-3-1. They're going to Denver, who is 11-2, and Green Bay is -2.5. That's an odd one.
What I don't like about this Green Bay team is that you just said they're 9-3-1, right? They lost to Cleveland and Carolina.
Yeah, they did.
2 of those
as
losses,
double-digit favorites.
2 of those losses are to 2 of the worst teams in football.
Yeah, but then they go and they beat up on Detroit on Thanksgiving.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know what you're getting from this team.
Yeah,
so
they beat Chicago last week.
It's a hard team to predict, and the line does speak kind of volumes to you, right? So you got to think, look, I'm not sold on Denver either. I mean, Bo Nix is he's more than just efficient. He's getting better and better, but he's still only in his second year. He's got a lot more learning to do. I think he's still making some mistakes.
It's just a weird line to me.
And Sean Payton, to me, sometimes
it's just a weird line. Denver's been winning games. Denver finds ways to win games.
I'm not disagreeing, but I don't know that they're going to be able to do that against Green Bay. Green Bay, like you said, I think they're a little more consistent. With the right game plan, they should win that game.
Very, very weird game. Any closing thoughts before we have Jon Schaeffer come on?
Well, I'm going to be doing a tidbit. I'm going to start doing some of the shorts that I know that you do too.
Yep.
And I talk about buying and selling. I want to do some teams I'm buying, some teams I'm selling. And then what you really look for is some of those matchups with teams that are being bought to teams that are being sold, getting together, and the line don't match up.
4 weeks left, man.
Right,
so it's the time to do it right now.
In the meantime, it's holiday season. Guys, be
Close
safe.
it out.
Have fun. And let's go out there and make some money.
Keep it right here for Jon Schaeffer from San Diego Sports 760. Welcome back to the Bet Big, Talk Loud podcast. I have a special guest, my main man, Jon Schaeffer from San Diego Sports Radio 760. He's got the John and Jim show that airs 2 to 6 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. Now, John, you have interviewed me for about the last 10 to 12 years. Now I get to interview you and have some fun with it.
I'm looking forward to it, Chris. It's great to be with you. Yeah, we've had so much fun over the years, and you've been awesome for our San Diego listeners. You've made a lot of people a lot of money over the years. So happy to return the favor and join you here this afternoon.
I've been live in studio with you a couple of times. You know, we've always had a great synergy, and I've always said, you know, when I'm on with you and Jim, I always think that's the best call-in that I do throughout the country. Myself and JR do a bunch, and I always have the most fun when I'm doing it with you. And I know we're out of season right now, but you and Jim Russell do a great job with the San Diego Padres wrap-up show. I tried to jump on last year when you guys played the Yankees.
I remember that.
Yeah, tried to jump on, but you guys are doing a great job with that show. So I always like watching that.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, it's kind of a labor of love. You know, when you're covering a baseball team, as you know, I mean, it's just every single day, every single night. But I mean, it's what we truly enjoy. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that.
So from all the way across the country in San Diego, I have to ask this question. What do you think about the Mets right now? I know that's not your thing, but what do you think about the Mets right now?
I mean, there's actually some similarities between the Padres and the Mets, truthfully, because the Padres have had high expectations. They've spent, not like the Mets have spent, and they haven't won at the level that Padres fans want them to, because the Dodgers are right next door, and the Dodgers are winning at this ridiculous level. I mean, the thing with the Mets is they've got resources available to them that most teams don't have other than LA. Like the Padres, they're going to be handcuffed by salary this offseason. Yeah, the Mets, it's a train wreck start to their offseason. We'll see how it finishes. Again, I think an advantage is the money. Usually when you have money, you can put yourself in a position where you can get back into it. But yeah, if I was a Mets fan, I'd be concerned, although I still think there's time in the offseason to probably put themselves in a better position than they're in right now.
Now, if we take our emotion out of it, okay, because I am a Yankees fan. The Yankees are the only team I root for in professional sports. You are a Padres fan. You are not very fond of the Dodgers. Do you think right now, again, emotion out of it, just from a baseball business standpoint, do you think what the Dodgers are doing right now is good for baseball or bad for baseball?
It's a really good question. I mean, I have no issues with teams trying to win. The issue that I've had over the last couple of years is the deferrals, because I feel like the Dodgers already have the advantages. Because unlike in the NFL or the NBA, where you've got like television revenue that's equally distributed, and I get it, like it's capitalism, not everything has to be fair and equal. But the Padres make nothing in television revenue, and the Dodgers are making like $200 to $300 million a year. So, in addition to that, do they really need the deferrals? To me, they don't. I have no issue with them spending. And the Padres have tried to spend. I prefer the floor, the bottom of Major League Baseball spend more, as opposed to kind of cap the spending at the top. But I mean, you give them credit because it's not just spending. They've won. The Mets have spent and haven't won. The Dodgers have spent and they have won. I'd prefer to get deferrals out of baseball, though, to some extent.
Yeah, and listen, they are heading towards what looks like a potential 2027 lockout. That's all indications right now, so we'll see if that gets fixed. But you said something about fair and equitable, so let's segue over to something that's near and dear to your heart, which is college football. Obviously, we have the CFP coming up. James Madison, Tulane. Do you think that's good for college football? I mean, they tried to make this overly fair, where the group of 5 has a shot to get in. Now they get 2 in. I personally would rather have seen, let's say, Texas and Notre Dame in over James Madison and Tulane. What's your thoughts on that?
Full disclosure, as you know, I call games for San Diego State. They're outside of the P4 structure. And I've always been a Cinderella guy, truth be told. Like we embrace Cinderella in college basketball, but we don't even want these teams on the same field in college football, which to me has never made a ton of sense, because I always go back to some of the big moments in college football over the last 20 years. I go back to App State at the Big House, for example. There's countless examples of Cinderella. Boise State over Oklahoma, obviously in a Fiesta Bowl, and there's others. So I say decided on field. I'm with you. I'm not saying that every group of 5 league needs to be represented in the playoff, although I'm not opposed to that, truthfully. Let's see what happens on field. I mean, we've seen blowouts involving the Clemsons and the Ohio States and the Oklahomas over the years. So if there's a blowout, that's just part of college football, in my opinion. So I don't have an issue with it. And again, we embrace it in college basketball. We don't in college football. We'll see if maybe JMU or Tulane can change the narrative by playing well or even winning a game this year.
So here's my point with that. It's like, you make a great point. We do embrace it. And I feel like the underdog, I mean, you can go back to, Jimmy V when they won,
100%.
Yeah. And that kind of like put the tournament on the road to the success that it's gone to. But for me, it's like when we do March Madness, right? We understand there's 64, 68 teams, whatever's in. Because there's only 12 in the CFP right now, I feel like I want to get the best 12. And I do not feel that Tulane or James Madison, and I know you're going to agree with this, they are not better than Texas or Notre Dame. So if we're doing this playoff, I just want to get to the best 12. That's how I feel.
I agree. I mean, I see it both ways. I don't disagree, and I tend to agree. I would just say, like, how many times do I need to watch Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame, in South Bend? And there's countless examples. Notre Dame has at least 3 G5 losses in the last 10 years. They lost to Marshall, and all of them are at home. So when I haven't done the deep dive to see what percent of the time a non P4 team beats a P4 team, but also consider the fact it's very rare for a non P4 team to be hosting a Power Four team. So they don't have the same number of cards in the deck, so to speak. So I'm okay with at least one team being in. And if they expand the CFP to 16, maybe it works for all parties. You've got one group of 5 team in, you got 14 or 15 Power Four teams in, and maybe that works for everyone.
I know this has been beaten to death ad nauseum, but I'm just going to ask you before we move on. Notre Dame, Miami, where were you on that?
I just think the committee did it wrong the whole time. If they would have just done it, what they should have done. I don't like the weekly ranking. I think it makes no sense. I get it because they're probably creating revenue, whatever. It's in a contract. I'm not vehemently opposed to it. But the whole point of a playoff to me is it's all done on field. And I hate when things are done in boardrooms. Like nobody looks at the AFC East at the end of the year and like, you know what? Yeah, it's true the Patriots are 12-5, but trust me, the 11-6, Dolphins are better. I mean, nobody would ever say that. So I wish it were more of a true playoff than an invitational. And Miami beat them on field. So when you have identical records and you've literally beaten a team, the fact that Miami was behind Notre Dame throughout the whole process, that's the committee's fault. They should have been ahead of them from day one. So I put that on the committee, but Miami should be in this event over Notre Dame.
You and I, complete agreement with that. If they had just done their job the right way throughout this thing, we wouldn't be having a discussion. They kind of led Notre Dame on. And then it's like leading the girl on and then picking her best friend, and then you have craziness, right? They kind of
they created the problem.
They absolutely did. Me and JR were on earlier in the show. By the way, this segment is sponsored by GirlsThatGamble.live. Got Jon Schaeffer from Sports Radio 760 in San Diego joining me. Always love having him here, man. I always love being on with you. But JR and I did, what went on with Sherrone more, so I'm not going to get into that. We don't need to kick a man while he's down, even though I think what he did was terrible. We'll get into who do you think, Michigan. Now that I don't know if top 10 job, top 5 job in the country. Like, where do you feel that job lands right now as is?
Man, I love that question specifically because when you think about, here's the thing, the power structure has been changed in this revenue sharing era. I mean, look at Indiana, look at Vanderbilt. So it's about now university commitment. Some people have a hard time with this, including me. It's like Indiana shouldn't be beating Ohio State, but then again, it's probably good for sports. Just like in the NFL, you don't only need one team winning. It's nice when there are years where there's teams that pop up and have a chance to win and make noise. So the power structure has changed. I still, is it top 5? It might not be top 5, but it's certainly in the top 10. I mean, the prestige and the national brand that it is, and the fact that they won a national championship in this era just 2 years ago, I'd probably put it between 5 and 10. You could probably argue 5. I don't think you could possibly argue anything lower than 10. It's like a better job than Penn State. There's a hierarchy in there. I don't think it's better than Ohio State. I don't think it's better than Alabama or LSU, but I think it's better than a program like Penn State now and historically. So yeah, I'd probably put it in the top 5 or 7.
So I hate what goes on with college football. I'm sure you do too. And you and I have not had this conversation where, a coach can just up and leave right before your team goes into the playoff or at any time in the season. Coach gets fired, that's one thing. But for a coach to leave and go to another team or another school in the middle of the season, like we'll never see this in the NFL. Just think of, Jim Harbaugh from, the Chargers, I'm going to go coach Kansas City now after week 8. Like, how stupid would that be, right? In college football, this seems to be allowed. And because it's the Wild West, we'll talk about some names from Michigan. A name that got floated just a couple hours ago prior to doing this podcast was Mike Elko from Texas A&M. I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, this guy is preparing to play Miami in the CFP next week, and his name is coming up as a potential replacement for Moore at Michigan.
Kellen DeBoer would be a similar situation, obviously, with what's going on. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I've had conversations about this with people like in athletics. And I think the belief really is, sure, the coaches look bad, but it's more of the calendar that the NCAA has kind of gone with that needs to be changed. And that's probably a conversation for another day. If they can change the calendar, maybe they can keep some of these coaches. Like Lane Kiffin should not be leaving Ole Miss during their best season in 100 years when they've got a chance to win a national championship, even if it is for a quote unquote better job. I don't think that works for anyone. Kiffin looks bad, but I think it's more the NCAA calendar that puts him in that position. I mean, listen, with Michigan, you'd like to think it's a pick of the litter job. I don't know if it'll be fully that, considering the timing. There have been a lot of coaches and good ones off the board, and considering the scenario that's surrounding the program right now. It's still a very good job. They shouldn't have a hard time getting one of their top 2 or 3 candidates, but will they get the ideal candidate that they would have gotten otherwise? That remains to be seen. And when you're Michigan and you're trying to compete with schools like Ohio State every year, you want to put yourself in the best position possible. And clearly, they're not in the best position possible to be making this hire right now.
I think a name that I heard, I think this guy would do a good job. I think he'd be a fascinating hire, is the guy from Arizona State, Dillingham. I think he would really do a good job. I don't want to see Mike Elko leave Texas A&M. I want to see if Kalen DeBoer can kind of, take the step from Nick Saban and keep Alabama going in the direction that we've all become accustomed to since Saban got there. I'd really be annoyed if one of those two guys left during the CFP and went to Michigan. I just think that's just a terrible message. But I think the guy Dillingham from Arizona State, I think that could be a fascinating hire for them.
He's done an amazing job now. He's an Arizona State guy, and I think he's publicly stated, a desire to stay, but money talks, and the difference between the Big 12 and the Big 10 financially is night and day. You look at these coaches' salaries right now in the Big 10, the SEC, and they have separated from the ACC and the Big 12. I think like the explosion scenario is the idea that like a Kalen DeBoer does go, and then Lane Kiffin somehow can get up and go to Alabama.
And you know what's crazy? That could actually happen, right?
I think it is. I mean, in this climate, in this world, in this era, I don't see anything that would prevent it from occurring. I don't know what DeBoer's appetite is, truthfully, to leave. I don't think Alabama fans will have any issue with it. I mean, it'll probably be welcome depending on what they do in the postseason. I think it would be a good hire, obviously, for Michigan, and it sets off another series of events. Remember, we haven't even had Black Monday in the NFL. And once you've got the NFL firings, that could set off a whole nother carousel in college football as well. So it never stops, is the point, specifically in college, even more so in the NFL. There's so much variance in the NFL, but the college game has become even more unpredictable than the NFL.
There are some jobs that are great, but then there are some jobs that, while they're great, you probably don't want. Like, replacing Nick Saban is impossible. I liken that to replacing Derek Jeter at shortstop for the Yankees. Like, whoever that was, whoever went there, whatever guy it was, he was never going to be Derek Jeter. That's why Volpe had a bad season, but he's always going to look at as Derek Jeter. And you replace Nick Saban, I mean, you're set up for failure, even in a great place like Alabama.
You want to be the guy after the guy. Or the guy after the guy after the guy.
Yeah.
You need that separation. It's like, do you want to follow, here in San Diego, Ted Leitner is an iconic radio voice, or Vin Scully in Los Angeles. It's like, those are big shoes to fill. So your point's valid. I don't care what Kalen DeBoer does. He's never going to be Bear Bryant. He's never going to be Nick Saban, So, and now the same can be said maybe at Michigan, because you're following a national championship with Jim Harbaugh, and they've had some legendary coaches in their history as well. But, these are amazing jobs. I mean, you can win at Alabama, you can win at Michigan. Kalen DeBoer, if you're in his shoes, you probably can't really make a wrong decision if you're choosing between the two.
I'll get to one more coach who I think is definitely intriguing, is the guy from Vanderbilt, Clark Lee. I mean, first of all, no one's ever won at Vanderbilt. James Franklin did a decent job there, but no one ever has won at Vanderbilt the way this guy did this year. I mean, if you look at it, 3-point loss to Bama, 3-point loss to Texas, that's his only 2 losses. But now they were getting blown out of the Texas game, but they came back. Alabama, they were in that game basically the whole way. I heard his name floated around. I think he could be a good hire for them as well.
He's done an amazing job. I mean, they had that statement win over Alabama 2 seasons ago. And now all of a sudden, again, this is where it's hard for those of us like me and you that have followed the sport for so long. And you look up and Indiana is ranked number 1 in the AP. And Vanderbilt is one of the top programs in the SEC. And by the way, I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Agreed.
It's just hard to recognize it. And it's hard to imagine that it's tangible and lasting. But I think it may be because of this equaling or leveling of the playing field. Look at the 5-star players. There were 32 5-stars in this year's class. They went to 21 different programs because you only have so much revenue to share. So each program's getting 1 or 2, not 6 or 8. So yes, he's done an amazing job. That's why I go back to, maybe Michigan doesn't land their first choice, but even their second is probably going to be very good. And with their resources, they're going to remain one of the top 2 or 3 jobs in the Big 10 with Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State.
If you look at what Indiana did, too, they didn't F around.
Indiana.
They saw what was going on. They locked up Signetti right away. They were like, no,
Yep.
we're not letting you get out. They locked him up right away. And to Ole Miss, I don't know if they tried to or not, but Ole Miss did not lock up Kiffin right away. Maybe his heart was in LSU anyway. We don't know. But, I think it's crazy what's going on in college sports. But I guess that's why we'll see what goes on. I think it's going to be a fascinating CFP at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, the Signetti thing, real quick on that, is such an amazing story.
Agreed.
I mean, he's coaching in Division II football in Pennsylvania 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And then he's an assistant to Nick Saban, and he just wins. And like he says, Google me. I win. And
It's a great line.
proven it's really incredible to see
Yeah.
Indiana at the top of college football. We'll see what happens this postseason, but he's done an amazing job.
Real quick, we'll keep you a couple more minutes. I know you got to jump on your radio show, which is far more important than this podcast. Thank you for coming on. Last 4 weeks of the NFL. I spoke about this last week. Two teams that we thought would have a great shot of making the Super Bowl out of the AFC, Baltimore and Kansas City, now might not even make the playoffs. That's crazy to me there. Obviously, you have the Eagles struggling in the NFC as the Super Bowl champions. Where do you see the last 4 weeks of this going, and how do you think it might play out?
I mean, what I like about it, it goes back to our college football conversation, is it's kind of up in the air right now. And I kind of like it, the fresh blood idea. I think people pretend like they don't want the same teams in it, but the ratings bear out that they do. I mean, Kansas City is still leading the NFL in television ratings this year. But for me, as just a fan of sports, I like to see the fresh blood. I mean, is New England real? It's kind of hard to envision that they are. You still have some of those names. You still have like the LA Rams in the NFC. I mean, Philadelphia, can they get back to who they were, even though they've lost 3 straight games? I just like the wide open element to it right now. I don't need to see Kansas City in another Super Bowl. Not to say I don't need to see Mahomes at some point again in another Super Bowl, but for me, if it's not Philadelphia, if it's not Kansas City, if it's Buffalo, we'll see about the Bills. There's some intriguing possibilities, is what I would say, that are presented when the Eagles and Chiefs aren't, having their best seasons.
Now, 4 weeks ago, I hope you remember this. Give me some credit. On your radio show, I said there is a team that I think is the best team in the league. Do you remember who I said?
Did you say the Rams?
I did say the Rams.
Yeah.
I
mean, the Rams.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams could definitely do it. I mean, you think about veteran quarterback, experienced head coach. The NFC West has been absolutely terrific. So, they've kind of gone through the battles as well. Seeding matters. Who secures the 1 seed in both of these conferences, like that. That's definitely impactful. But it's hard to bet against. I think the Rams have a decent shot, probably as good of a shot as anyone right now in the NFC.
Me personally, I gave them out before the season began in terms of who would win the Super Bowl. It wasn't the Rams. When I did my radio show, Sports Investors Daily, I gave out Buffalo to win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to stand by that. I have to, right? I'm not going to switch.
Yep.
But I do believe the Rams are the best team in the league. But I always like to see firsts, right? I would love to see for some reason Buffalo has been tortured like any other fan base, right? Like in the NFL.
Yep.
I would like to see them win, but we're going to find out what they are this week. We're going to find out what both teams are, Buffalo and New England, this week.
Yeah, I mean, the Buffalo story, I completely agree with you. The idea, like, Josh Allen has been so close.
Sure.
It's almost like the year you have to take advantage if you're not going through Patrick Mahomes. Like, if you don't do it now, are you going to have another opportunity in the relative near future, or like a significant change coming in Buffalo? Because if you can't do it now, when are you going to do it? But I'm with you. I thought last year, if we could have got like Buffalo, Detroit, there's amazing storylines there.
Sure.
Because you've got like 2 teams that never win. So I'm intrigued by it. Again, it's still hard to completely discount Philadelphia, even though the way they played, and they played so poorly. So yeah, I hear the thing. The odds suggest that it's not going to be Philadelphia. Certainly, it's not going to be Kansas City, just based on where they are right now in the AFC. So we'll probably have some a new champion here in 2026.
To your point, man, with Pat Mahomes, this reminds me of the NBA in 1994 when Jordan was out. It's like now Pat Mahomes probably not going to make the playoffs. Pat Mahomes is the guy that always beats Josh Allen. He's the Michael Jordan to Josh Allen. So we'll see what happens. Jon, I know you got to go do your radio show. Thank you so much. Jon and I have done radio together. I've been on his program basically since 2015 or 16.
Yeah.
You do a great job on the Jon and Jim radio show, Sports Radio in San Diego, 760. So, Jon, thank you so much for coming on. Truly appreciate it.
Chris, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me anytime.
All right. Thank you, brother. All right, that's going to wrap up this edition of the Bet Big, Talk Loud podcast, sponsored by TakingVegas.com and GirlsThatGamble.live. Guys, go check out GirlsThatGamble.live. They got a great offer, 30-day period for $14.99. So basically, it's a dollar every other day. And they're doing a great job over there at girlsthatgamble.live. Special thanks to Jon Schaeffer, who hosts the Jon and Jim radio show, Sports Radio 760 in San Diego. I have done radio with Jon for 12 years, I believe, since 2013, I think, when we first started. So I want to thank Jon Schaeffer for coming on. I think his insight, as you could tell, was phenomenal with everything he said. A great conversation. And that's what we try to do here on the Bet Big, Talk Loud podcast. Free picks. If you missed them, let me just get to them real quick. I went with Army plus the points. Again, I said it. I have a son that's in the Army. The kid's a trained killer. I don't really want to mess with him and say, hey, guess what? I went with Navy, so I'm using Army. So don't go crazy on that. I know it's not a scientific pick and all that, but don't go crazy on that. JR, red hot with his NFL picks, 10-4, 3 in a row for free. He went with Buffalo, and he laid the 1.5. So those are the 2 free picks. Hope you enjoyed. Listen to us. Check out the quick snips as we go throughout the week. This was the Bet Big Talk Loud podcast, sponsored by TakingVegas.com and girlsthatgamble.live. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll catch you back next Friday.